Hikari Senju is the founder and CEO of Omneky. In this episode, Hikari shares his inspiring journey from studying computer science at Harvard to creating multiple successful tech startups. He discusses his early exposure to entrepreneurship, his experiences at hackathons, and his foray into the tech sector with his company QuickHelp, which was eventually acquired by a larger firm. Hikari also dives into his latest venture, Omneky, a cutting-edge company that leverages AI to optimize advertising campaigns and generate creative content at scale. He provides intriguing insights into the challenges and opportunities of growing an AI-driven business, especially in the ever-evolving landscape of digital marketing. Whether you're a budding entrepreneur, a tech enthusiast, or someone interested in how AI is transforming industries, Hikari's journey offers valuable lessons and a glimpse into the future of technology and marketing. As always, if you found value from this content, please like and subscribe. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Beyond Fulfillment podcast. I'm your host, Dave Goulas, and this week, my guest is the founder and CEO of Omneky, Hikari Senju. Welcome,
Hello.
Hikari.
Thanks for having me, Dave. Really excited to be here.
Yeah, we appreciate you taking the time. So if you could, for everyone, Hikari, can you tell us how you became an entrepreneur?
Sure. I started my first company when I was in college. I was studying computer science at Harvard. I was at a hackathon and created this app so students could connect with other students just to meet up. And I kind of roped in my roommate to start this company with me, and that was my very first company. We went through an incubator, and that was learn how to pitch to VCs, how to create a deck, how to get users and tell a story. Then I started another venture-backed company in college soon, the year after, which was an ed tech company called QuickHelp. And that was acquired by another business in San Francisco, another ed tech company, where I became the head of marketing. And so those were kind of my first two companies, venture-backed companies, started in college. Separately, even prior to this, I worked at my uncle ran like a medium-sized like internet company startup as well. He actually also started a social networking app in Tokyo, and so I was interning there for during the summers in high school. And so that was also kind of my foray into learning what it's like to work for like an 8-person team, very early stage startup, getting your first customers, building the product for your customers, etc. And then even prior to that, you can even go back and say that my grandfather worked at IBM, and then he was a venture capitalist after that. And so kind of an early like education in technology and building technology products and seeing prototypes and seeing demos and learning what it means to start a technology company. And so yeah, like even though my very first company I started in college, I'd been kind of building projects, doing projects, working at startups, and learning about startups and technology products way before then.
Okay, so you were exposed to business and entrepreneurship very early on. Tech, did you always have the idea that you'd go into something in the tech field?
Yeah, I mean, the reason why I wanted to be an entrepreneur was because of my deep passion in technology, and that I felt that entrepreneurship was the highest leverage way of building technology products, at least quickly. And so growing up, I grew up in Westchester, New York, near the IBM headquarters, where my grandfather worked, and my mother also went to the same high school as I did. And so just it was first and foremost was just the excitement of technology, how every 6 months the world changes. You have Moore's law that exponentially improves the power of information technology systems and technology enabled products exponentially every 2 years or 18 months, and that is just an exciting space to be in. That what was unimaginable 5 years ago, through exponential advancements suddenly becomes reality and becomes normal. Kind of like ChatGPT is today, or AI image generation is today. Almost unimaginable 5 years ago. And so um, that was really what got me excited. I felt that entrepreneurship was the best medium for me to have the most impact in terms of building these kinds of products quickly and getting them to scale. It was the highest leverage way for me as an individual to build these products and kind of have an impact and connect with consumers. And so that really um, is like a vehicle for building technological change. Is the is like my path through entrepreneurship.
Attention Shopify sellers. Are you tired of slow sales? Do you want to skyrocket your revenue? Well, you'll want to join this free masterclass from my friends, the Traffic Ninjas. Learn how to optimize your store, boost conversions, and dominate your niche. Sign up with the link in the show notes and take your Shopify business to the next level. And so you're at Harvard, and you started the first company. You said you were at a hackathon.
Yeah, so throughout Harvard, I mean, was studying computer science. I was taking classes at MIT, and then on weekends, I would go and attend hackathons, and I would actually even go to like Michigan, University of Michigan, or go to Berkeley and fly there. And the university system, there would be these hackathons that these universities would host, and we get students from all over the country to meet up and mingle, and then build a project over the weekend. And so I was doing that as well, where I was going to hackathons. And one of the projects that I started was this friend meetup app. Another one was the ed tech company. So yeah, like, and I'm even to this day a big fan of hackathons, and I attend hackathons, and we sponsor hackathons as well. And I think it's just a really great place to quickly prototype ideas and demo ideas, and so and to meet talented individuals. And so yeah, I mean, I'm a big, yeah. So the first, like studying computer science and doing quickly building these demos was a big part of my college experience.
Okay. And then for the next one that got acquired, which was Quick Help, and that was a tutoring app?
Yeah, so it was a social local mobile application focused on tutoring. So it would be an app that would you could take kind of like ChatGPT does this today very well, and so you can, but like back then, if you had a hard homework problem, you were kind of stuck. What this app would do is you could take a photo of the problem, and it'll connect you with tutors who can help you solve that problem. And one of the benefits of being, say, in Boston, where there's a high density of students, is that usually there's somebody within that network can help, knows how to help you solve that problem, and you could actually meet up, at a cafeteria or in a dorm, in like a dorm cafe or something, and then they can help you and they can tutor you to help solve that problem. And so that was the application.
Okay. And so at that time too, you went through an incubator?
That did not go through an incubator. With that, we received financing we received a grant from Harvard and MIT through some competitions they had. We were part of the Harvard Innovation Lab, which is a kind of Harvard's own kind of incubator for its students. And then we received some angel funding and some early investments from Dorm Room Fund and Rough Draft Ventures, which are two kind of college oriented funds. That are subsidiaries of General Catalyst and First Round Ventures. And so, yeah, that was kind of enough for us to get, for me to be actually able to work full time on it after graduating.
Okay. And so what was the process like? Because like you said, you're exposed to entrepreneurship very early on. You had all these ideas. You're going to hackathons. You're networking and collaborating with other young entrepreneurs, like-minded people. But now you have a real company and you actually get funding. And like you said, it affords you the ability to work on it full time. What was that process like growing a tech startup as such a young adult?
Yeah, I mean, being a tech CEO or being a founder is, it's a skill. You need to learn how to market. You need to learn how to sell. You need to learn how to build products. You need to learn how to finance and raise money from venture capitalists. You need to know how to build a team and recruit. You need to know how to manage people, and so there's a lot of stuff you need to learn very quickly. And I think there's a benefit in learning in starting this journey slightly sooner, because it gives you more time to learn some of these skills, at least in the context, at least for in my experience. And so yeah, I mean, like, you start off, and you start off because you usually can build a prototype and you can get some users, and maybe you can convince some investors to give you some seed money or pre-seed money. But to get that to the next stage, you need to quickly level up. You need to close bigger deals. You need to get more, order of magnitude more users. You need to raise more money. You need to hire more people, and really, like, really great people. And so initially you're kind of failing at all these. You need to get attention. I think that's the most important thing. Is startups, attention is a very key kind of important currency, I think, for a new product, to get attention, so you can get these other opportunities. And so you just learn to hustle. And that yeah, you're just kind of you're just kind of pulling things together, just, and just moving quickly and just doing things and getting things done, and incrementally just improving in various ways every day. And then hopefully a couple weeks or months later, you can look back and say, okay, we built a product and we have some users and we have some investors. And but yeah, but I think the other benefit of starting company early is you kind of start seeing a lot of the patterns regarding startups and building a product from 0 to 1, and getting users. And you learn to not be phased by certain challenges perhaps that you face as well, because you kind of seen various permutations of it yourself. And so those, I think that's like another advantage of starting sooner.
And what was the process like in terms of growing the company? Did it take off right away, or did you run into some initial roadblocks in terms of getting customers and growing the business?
So quick help, we pivoted to this system that would connect tutors to students in all over the world, particularly in Asia. And so there's these in Asia, particularly at that time in the mid 2010s, a real desire to learn English. And we were connecting students there to tutors in the US. And that ended up becoming a bit more of a lucrative business. But even then, it was kind of hard to scale education companies. It's just you're often competing against free product, local, usually a lot of most places have free education of some form. And so and then yeah, and so that was kind of the challenges. So we ended up selling the company to another ed tech company. And then I was kind of thinking about what my next company would be, and that was really when I had this idea of using AI, which was by fashion from college, generative AI in particular, which is I studied machine learning, focused on machine learning at Harvard and MIT, applying that technology in the space of advertising, and that became the company that I've been scaling since 2018.
Okay. Yeah, and we'll definitely get into Omneky and what you do there. Just quick question too on Quick Help and when you scale. So in terms of the acquisition, was it more so like the tech company would be in better position to really scale it? So it was almost like divesting it in terms of to free you up to work on your next venture. It just made sense. Is that how that worked?
Yeah. I mean, I think we had a lot of tutors on our platform. They were looking for a system for connecting with more tutors on their platform, and kind of I think they also appreciated my hustle to kind of boot. Essentially, we raised a little bit of money, but got some grants, but it wasn't like a whole lot of money, and kind of bootstrapping to a certain size. They appreciate that hustle, and so yeah, it made sense, and I got to learn a lot about how to work and lead a slightly bigger scale company. Because I just at that time, I think one of the main things I realized when I was starting this company, like my previous company, was just how much I didn't know, and I just wanted to learn. And so by working for a slightly larger company, I learned a little bit more about, especially one of the benefits also was I got to move to the Valley, because this company was based in Silicon Valley. So I was originally in Boston, moved to Silicon Valley, and being in Silicon Valley, just kind of learning, what it means to run a Silicon Valley tech company is a kind of a distinct animal in the flavors of entrepreneurship as well. And so that was a great experience and a great learning experience for me. And then quickly after, about a year and a half after that, going and starting my own company again. This time with Silicon Valley investors based in the Valley, with Silicon Valley talent. That was you know kind of a good pivot for me in terms of the space. Good pivot for me in my entrepreneurial journey.
Okay, so yeah, it sounds like that helped you out a lot. So you sell the company and then you stay on to work for the company that acquires you for a year and a half, and you get to move to Silicon Valley. I mean, you were at Harvard, which I mean, it's very high level education, right? How much of a how different was it going to the Valley and jumping into that business world where it's such a hotbed of successful tech companies and being immersed in that scene?
Well, I think um, Boston has a lot of really great. There's a lot of it's a very scholarly place, and there's a lot of really smart people, very knowledgeable people, and you learn about how to think about problems critically and deeply, and also how to think, just how to think more critically and strategically, and you gain a lot of skills. But starting a company in Boston it's like trying to swim through molasses. Like it just everything is just hard. Recruiting is hard. Fundraising is hard. Like you can barely even get to the you can barely get off the ground because you're struggling with like step point one and step point two of like getting company off the ground. But one of the benefits of Silicon Valley is that you get the benefit of the doubt. People are often willing to invest in your vision with slightly less traction, as long as the market, perceived market is large enough. People have more experience investing in startups, and so they have, they can ask more intelligent questions about, the ways to think about your business plan and the ways you're thinking about the opportunity and the plan to kind of pursue that opportunity. And so you just learn a lot about company building being in Silicon Valley, because now suddenly you're kind of in this petri dish of all these other successful companies and people who worked at these other successful companies and what they learned, and other smart angel investors invested in a lot of successful companies, and the patterns that they've seen, and then you kind of learn quickly from that. And so things just move faster, which is great because time is of the essence for startups. They think that startups are operating very short time frames, because the resources are more limited. And so, if things can move faster, that means more cycles for the company, more shots on goal, more faster learnings, and therefore a higher chance of success.
Okay. All right. So after you spent your time there working at Yup, then you went on to start Omneky, which is your current company. So tell us what that company does.
Yeah, so Omneky generates and optimizes the advertising campaigns and creatives. So what we do is we analyze historical performance of advertising creative. So we integrate with your ad networks, your social ad platforms, your display ad platforms. We discover what are the trends in terms of the creative, the design, the messaging that's resonating with consumers. And then we use those insights and generate content at scale. So oftentimes a business, they have multiple SKUs, they have multiple audiences they're targeting, they have different platforms that they're trying to advertise on, and it's just a lot of work to create content in all those variations. If you have quickly the kind of the complexity multiplies based on you're trying to advertise, say 20 different SKUs on 5 different platforms targeting maybe a dozen different audiences. Even that's suddenly very complex. And what we do is we have a system for creating all those variations based on data, and it results in significant time savings for our customers, because what used to take months of work, it can now be done kind of within minutes. And then also results in higher ROI for their advertisers, because now the ads are more effective, the ads more personalized, the ads more relevant, and so it drives higher performance for our customers in terms of the ROI, the return on ad spend.
Okay. All right. And so this is using AI, machine learning to do all this. And you started this in 2018?
Yes.
Okay. So at that time, vast majority of the world didn't know what AI is. we've certainly seen an explode in popularity since the beginning of 2023. But what was it like growing a company and at that time and pitching it to people when many people didn't really understand what AI was?
Um, I think, I mean, it's, studying computer science at Harvard, focused on machine learning, taking machine learning courses at MIT, um, and then being in Silicon Valley, at the kind of epicenter of a lot of this research technology, a lot of things I took for granted, I thought, oh, it's pretty obvious that this is going to be massive just because I was seeing early signals of that, from at least a decade ago. And but then yeah, when you're communicating with investors, or even marketing, especially marketers who aren't necessarily in technology, um, they're like, well, isn't AI all vaporware? Isn't it? It's not real. It's always this thing that's in the future, but never really arrived yet. Um, but thankfully we also were able to find customers early on in Silicon Valley that did believe in the AI and did believe in its potential. They were generally technologists, and so our first customers, and probably the first million in revenue, was from other technology startups and marketers who worked in Silicon Valley startups, who understood the potential for AI. And so, and also, at the same time, I think there was this kind of give it forward mentality, willing to also nurture and help other startups in the ecosystem. And so that was beneficial. Again, I think if I was trying to start an AI company outside of Silicon Valley, maybe a bit of a slightly difficult and different story I'm telling you right now. But luckily, being based in Silicon Valley, I was able to quickly find investors and angel investors and customers that were willing to quickly, to kind of, take a flyer on the vision and help us out.
Okay. And then when AI and ChatGPT was released in early 23, right, and it became so much more common, I mean, how did that impact the company and what you're doing in terms of like competitors or other market trends?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely increases competition, but also raises general more market awareness and creates more opportunities as well. The underlying technology has also come a lot further along than when it was, when I started the company. When I started the company, we'd have to like custom. There's this open source platform called Hugging Face, and we'd have to take embeddings from Hugging Face and then custom fine tune these models. It would take us a day to like onboard a customer so that we can generate copy that mimic their brand. And this was like in 2019, 2020. This was, not scalable. Now, with all these advancements in AI, predominantly coming from Silicon Valley, a lot of these things are scalable. And so, yes, there's more competition, but there's also more opportunity because we're now so much closer to this vision of a fully autonomous system that generates and optimizes ads at scale, manages your campaigns at scale, and does all the work that a marketing team or an advertising team traditionally did.
Okay. And so your customers are creatives or just companies, right? In terms of handling their business and their marketing on various channels and customizing it for that platform or that channel. Is that right?
Yes.
And what do you see the biggest challenges that companies have, when they're trying to do this or when they're trying to, I guess, market on all these various platforms and channels that are available to them?
Yeah, I mean, I think um, like this the systems they have in place. So, for example, oftentimes the creative team might not have access to the data in terms of the performance, and so be able to get the data from that company's marketing department and their creative team, which kind of tend to operate in silos. Um, is one hurdle, and so oftentimes we would run a POC just on the generative side without the creative, so without the analytics, or we depending on which team ends up being a beachhead. So if it's the marketing team, then it's maybe that starts with analytics. If it's the creative team, then maybe it's on the creative workflows. But it really is shocking how these two teams that are so dependent on each other are operating silos and actually don't have a lot of sway with each other. The marketers don't really understand a lot about design and are not very involved at all in the creative process, or very limited involvement. Maybe they have some guidance, but generally kind of kept separate from the creative department, which has very little visibility of how their ads are actually performing. And so that especially um, The bigger the company that you go, tends to be the case. I think making sure customers having all their assets and brand information in one place. So the brand guidelines, their product assets, and kind of organized in a very centralized way. Not that isn't always the case. Um, Generally, different marketing departments have different types of creative workflows, and there's really infinite combinations of this. Some people, a lot of marketing teams increasingly have their marketing in house, but maybe their creative is outsourced. Maybe the creative is in house, but the media buying is outsourced. Um, they may have a large in-house creative team. They may have like one person being their in-house creator, and so even at the biggest sizes, there's kind of different permutations of this. And so there's kind of that organizational complexity. And then I think more kind of saliently, especially the bigger the company go, is like things, concerns associated with copyright, concerns associated with indemnification. If you actually generate something that's IP violates somebody else's IP, data security and safety. Is the data that I'm sharing with you not going to be leaked? Not going to be used to train some other model that what could help my competitor? Is my data going to stay on prem? Um, and then there's kind of like the tech stack as well. Like what is their tech stack that they use to build creative and launch ads, and then do we need to build integration to that? And so yeah, I mean there is kind of a myriad of different challenges that for each customer when it comes to kind of implementing such an autonomous generative system.
Okay. And so do you target like a certain size company?
Yeah, so generally we target mid-market companies that are kind of trying to scale their advertising. These are generally consumer-oriented companies, so consumer finance or consumer e-commerce companies. A large percentage of our customers are e-commerce companies with a lot of SKUs.
Okay. All right. And then it sounds like too, is there a solution even for the legal challenges too? It sounds like you alluded to that in terms of like automating that.
Well, I think when it comes to like the liability concerns, it's just there's still a lot of gray area. It's not always clear. Um, when an AI generates a piece of content, who's taking on the liability of that content? It really depends on the model provider. Some model providers take full indemnification. I mean, let's say if you use our model, we're going to take all the risks to that. And some model providers, no, we don't take any liability. That's on you. And so there are different types of licenses with these open source. With these open source models, different types of licenses. Some open source models are just purely for research purposes. You actually can't commercialize them. Or if you do commercialize them, you have to kind of figure out some kind of separate deal. And so yeah, like licensing issue with the models and underlying models, the copyright concerns regarding the models. Those are some of the different legal risks associated with the go-to-market of an AI product.
Okay. And so in terms of your role as a founder, like you've already founded a couple other earlier companies, and now with this one being the main one you're working on now, how is your role as a founder evolved? Like, are you still hands-on with a whole bunch of different things, or are you able to delegate more? Like, what does being a founder look like for you present day?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still very involved in in everything we do, marketing, product, coding, fundraising. Probably the only thing that I'm probably not doing is like actually writing the code, but I'm pretty involved. I mean, I'm currently speaking from our Sunnyvale office, which is where our engineering team meets every day in person to build products, and so yeah, I would say I'm deeply involved in all the elements of the company.
Okay. All right. And so the company's been in business 6 years. Given your current growth, like what's next, and where do you see the company heading over the next like 12 to 24 months?
Well, I think it's continue to just hone and refine the product, make it better, make it more, more, to a broader audience. Keep adding additional capabilities to make it more useful for our customers. I think more kind of in the medium term, there's kind of this agentic future that we're working towards, where really, you have an agentic system automating entire marketing departments or advertising departments or creative departments. And so there's that kind of direction. And then more on a financial sense, really working towards growing revenues and building product to power that revenue growth so we can IPO the company.
Okay. All right. And let me just ask you another question with regards to AI and marketing. I mean, clearly, right, there's been all sorts of projections about how AI is going to change work as we know it. And some people think it's going to take jobs. Some people think it's going to create a whole set of new jobs and really help automate some of the more tedious tasks. But specifically with regards to marketing, I mean, how do you see AI changing the role of marketing professionals in the coming years?
Well, I think it's going to create jobs. I mean, absolutely. When you have a tool that improves productivity, which is what AI does, it creates jobs because it creates more value. It results in GDP growth. It results in more wealth for the company and the country that these innovations are built. When you have more, when a company is more profitable, they're not. I mean, most companies don't just hand that money back over to their shareholders. They tend to use that money to grow their business further. So it means they're going to hire more people. So if you can improve the efficiency of a company, if you can improve the profitability of a company, it generally means more jobs because they're going to use those profits for additional growth, whether those are new product lines or launching, new hires to improve their products or improve their marketing in different ways. My concern is actually the companies that don't embrace AI. The companies that don't embrace AI are going to be outcompeted by the companies that do embrace AI, and those companies are going to lose jobs, and those companies will not be competitive. But if you do embrace AI, I think, and if you embrace AI properly and use it to power your growth, then that should result in, that will result in more growth, more profits that you can reinvest into hiring more people and kind of growing your business further with new initiatives.
Okay. All right. And Hikari, if people want to get in touch with you, learn more about Omneky and what you do, what's the best way that people can reach out to you?
Yeah, so you can email me at hi@omneky.com, hi@omneky.com. You can follow me on X. You can add me on LinkedIn, and I'm happy to add you back. And also follow Omneky, at Omneky on Twitter, or sorry, X, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. We're constantly producing content, updating our followers on cool product demos, testimonials of our product, case studies of our product, and we have a free trial. So actually, any one of your listeners today can go to our website and sign up and try our product for free.
All right. We'll link all that in the show notes for everyone so they have it. Okay.
Awesome.
Excellent. All right. Well, Hikari, thank you so much for being here, taking the time to share this journey, lessons from your journey and what you're doing now. We certainly appreciate it.
Thank you, Dave.
All right. And that is all the time we have for now. We will see you next time.